Hello guys, my name is Patrick and welcome to Ask Me Anything, which is a weekly series here on my channel where anyone can send me anything in the comment section or private message or questions, whether it's about a game or real life, and I always answer them. So if you're new to my channel, this is just a series we do every week, or at least I try to get it out every week. It's usually a Tuesday, but sometimes I kind of have to do like on a Wednesday or sometimes a Monday, or sometimes they don't even get out till late in the week. But I try to keep it centralized on Tuesdays just so people have a time where they can watch the series. So the first thing I want to say is that this weekend I was in Texas. In the last two videos I've uploaded, I think it was the Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 trailer as well as the Tom Clancy's The Division trailer, both remixed. I put them to music and I actually edited those on a plane using the iMovie app for the iPad, which was, if you never used the app you wouldn't get it, but it's pretty hard to use, especially compared to like a computer. So I was pretty happy with how those turned out because I edited it on an iPad, which had a lot of restrictions when compared to a computer. So about Texas, I didn't really like the actual area in Texas. Like, we flew into Houston and I didn't really like the actual environment there, but I did really like the people. Everyone we met was really nice. They'd be willing to help, they'd start conversations. Everyone there was just really nice, and so I really liked the people from Texas, but the actual city was too bad. A lot of areas were kind of sketchy and it just didn't feel like a good environment. As like, for example, when I went to Georgia to visit my aunts, I think, man, it was like a few months ago or something. I think we went during winter break or something. Anyway, when we went to see them, I loved Georgia. Like, Georgia was just such a nice place to be in. There were trees, there were just shrubs everywhere, which we're not used to in California. It's like oftentimes dry here. And it was just a beautiful place to be, and the people were nice. But here in Texas, the people were just really nice. I didn't really like the city that much. But yeah, I don't think I mentioned that I was there to see my grandma. I don't know if I said that or not. But maybe the last time I get to see her, so that's too bad. But it was good to see her again. I haven't seen her for like, I don't know, it's been like 7 years since I saw her last. So it was good to sort of touch base. She's kind of out of it, but I don't want to sadden the mood here in this video with everything about my grandma. Anyway, let's get into the first question. We have Fatal Skeleton. He asks, are you excited for Horizon Drop? I personally cannot wait, and hopefully it lives up to the hype as soon as us Xbox users get it. So I can't wait for Horizon Drop either. It looks like such a fun map. Like, I've always wanted a Castle Zombies map. I just think that's been like, it just a super cool idea, and the fact that they're adding this like whole dragon thing to get your bow at the beginning of the game, I think that's really cool too. And Horizon Drop actually stands for like the Iron Dragon in German or something. So that's why there are dragons in the map. But like the whole bows thing looks cool, and it reminds me of the Origin staff. So there's like 4 different elements, and like you have to do all these different things to earn it. And it just looks like a really cool map with cool dynamics and stuff. And I can't wait to complete the Easter egg on that, especially since the Easter egg can be completed solo now, as compared to like Shadows of Evil where you needed to have a party of 4 people. So if I ever like needed to like if I ever wanted to do the Easter egg one day and I didn't have 4 people, I couldn't do it. But now that you can do it with 1 people, if I ever feel like in an Easter egg mood, I can just go ahead and do it. And yeah, that's that. So I'm really excited for the map. It looks like it'll just be straight up amazing. The cutscene also looks really cool, but I'm not going to spoil it for you guys just in case you haven't seen it. But if I ever do finish the Easter egg and post the guide on my channel, I will have the Easter egg cutscene in it, even though most of you guys will already probably seen it by now since it's been out on the PlayStation for about a month. Next we have Cook Lion, and he asks, what's up with the map Hunted? So I'm glad someone actually asked this, because Hunted's been really weird for me lately, and I figured out just recently what it was. What you're seeing right now in the gameplay is normal Hunted gameplay before Treyarch released the patch to change up the map. But I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but they changed up the map Hunted significantly. So before the patch, I loved Hunted. Hunted was most likely my favorite map. It just looked beautiful. I loved how it played. It was just a great setting. It just looked great. It was in the afternoon type time. But in the recent update, Treyarch changed the lightings on the map, and now it looks like it's like a morning time, and it just looks really ugly in my opinion. Like, some people say it looks better, but I just think it looks ugly. Again, this gameplay you're saying is the old Hunted, which I really did like. But since they changed it, and they might have changed it back, I don't know, but it just looks ugly now, and I just don't like how the map Hunted is. I'm glad it's not just me. I thought I was just going crazy, my Xbox was being weird or something. Thought maybe my Elgato was messing with my like settings or whatever, and I didn't want to have to mess with my Elgato settings, and so I'm glad it's not just me, it's just the update they released. And yeah, hopefully they change it back. They might have already, like I said, but yeah, we'll see about that. Next we have Green Pepsi Cola, and he asks, who will be the nominees and who will win the 2016 presidential election? So if you guys don't know, I'm a big fan of politics and I follow it. I think I might have answered a question similar to this a while ago, or maybe it was just a political question, but I'm a big politics buff and I like answering questions like this. I don't think actually anyone's asked specifically who I think will win, but I'm going to try to keep my opinions out for this video just so I don't offend anyone who disagrees with me on this subject, but I'm just going to say who I think will be the nominees and who I think will end up winning. So first of all, Donald Trump. And again, I don't know if you guys know about any of these candidates or anything, but if you do, then you'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you can just, I don't know, fast forward through this question and find wherever the next question is. But yeah, I do not think Donald Trump will be the nominee for the Republican Party. I don't think voters will vote for someone who wants to ban an entire religion, pretty much take away part of your First Amendment, especially in the Republican Party where it's strongly enforcing the Constitution, and he specifically wants to take away the freedom of religion and wants to ban an entire Muslim religion. It's just incredible. And today, President Obama actually said that he doesn't think that Trump will be president either, and I agree with him on that, definitely. I don't think he'll be the nominee. He just doesn't have the temperament that it takes to be president, commander-in-chief. I just think he'd be a horrible president. His policies are terrible. He's not a politician, which I'd get if he just understood the process, but he just, and I don't want to be mean while saying this, but he's just a bozo. He just doesn't know much about anything, and he'd just be, in my opinion, a terrible nominee, and I don't think they'll nominate him. I just don't think the Republican Party's that stupid to nominate someone like Donald Trump, because he wouldn't stand a chance against anyone. If Hillary or Bernie got nominated, Donald Trump wouldn't stand a chance, because are you going to vote for the Hillary Clinton, let's say, are you going to vote for her, who's kind of moderate on democratic issues, or someone who wants to ban an entire religion? They're not going to nominate Trump. They know he won't beat either Bernie or Clinton, and so, yeah, I know he's not going to be the nominee, but who do I think will be the nominee for the Republican Party? I initially thought it was Ted Cruz. It was going to be Ted Cruz just because he's a very strong debater, and he has good points on some subjects. I mean, I don't agree with him on most of his policies or anything, but I feel like he'd be the nominee. But recently I've started thinking maybe it'll be Marco Rubio, just because he's more moderate on some of the issues and not as extreme as Donald Trump or Ted Cruz is. So I have a feeling Ted Cruz is going to be the nominee, but it's also a possibility that Marco Rubio could. And so I think it's 60-40 Ted Cruz will be the nominee. If not, the other 40% is Marco. But I don't know, there's always the odd chance John Kasich could be the nominee. You might not know what he is because he's always kind of been in the background, but he came in a strong second place in New Hampshire. And I don't know, I just really like John Kasich. He's moderate on most Republican issues, not as extreme as many other candidates. But yeah, so I think Ted Cruz will be the nominee, but it's also very possible that Marco Rubio could be. And yeah. For the Democratic side, I think, and I still think, that Hillary will be the nominee. It's not as guaranteed as it was, let's say, a few months ago when O'Malley was still in the race and those people were still in, because Bernie's gaining a lot of support and he's definitely resonating with the millennials. He's getting the millennial vote. But Hillary Clinton's getting most of the African-American vote, at least currently, and that might really help her, because we saw with Barack Obama, when he got elected, he got a lot of the minority vote, and that really helped him in the end win the election twice, actually. And I think that's what's going to end up happening with Clinton. Minority vote's really going to help her. Obviously, it's not just the minority vote. In fact, a lot of older people who are actually educated, I've seen studies where more educated people will vote for Hillary than Bernie. And I'm not saying I'm not saying I don't like Bernie. I really trust Bernie Sanders as a person. In fact, I trust Bernie more than I do Hillary, but I think Hillary would be a better president just because she's had a ton of experience and she's not really a, quote, one-trick pony, whereas I think Bernie Sanders focuses too much on the 1%. That's my impression of Bernie Sanders, not very good. But yeah, I think he focused too much on that and doesn't really have a strong foreign policy, and whereas Hillary Clinton does, and she's just had a ton of experience with that kind of stuff. So I think Hillary will end up being the nominee for the Democratic Party, and I think Ted Cruz might end up being the nominee for the Republican Party. If not, again, it's going to be Marco Rubio. And in that election, if it were Hillary versus Cruz, I think Hillary would win, but it'd be close. And for Hillary versus Rubio, I don't know. That'd be really close. But again, I think Hillary would end up trumping them, and not trumping, playing words there. But I think she'd end up winning the election. I know a lot of people don't like Hillary just because they don't trust her, but I think she'd end up being the strongest choice. Next we have Jenga Polson. He asks, I remember your video about your favorite specialist weapon, but what is your favorite ability? So my favorite specialist weapon, if you guys didn't see the video, was the Ripper, by far. I love the Ripper. I've just absolutely loved it ever since the game came out. And I don't think I've talked much about abilities, and come to think of it, I don't use abilities all that much. I'm usually more of a weapons person when it comes to specialists. But if I had to pick a favorite ability, I'd probably pick Reaper Psychosis. And the reason I like this so much is because it has a really fast recharge rate. I just feel like it's really good to distract the enemy, and I feel like it just works really well. Like it seems like it wouldn't fool them, but a lot of times it does. And I know especially I get fooled a lot of times when Psychosis clones are coming at me. I just shoot all of them oftentimes. Yeah, I just think it's a really good ability, especially because you earn it really fast, and I just really love to run Psychosis if I'm going to run an ability. Finally, we have Hollowed Chrome, and he asks, what's your most anticipated game of 2016? So this is actually sort of a tough one, but it'd probably just be COD 2016, whatever it's going to be, just because I'm a big fan of Call of Duty, obviously, and some of the other games coming out, I've just never been a big follower of the series. Like Mirror's Edge could be fun, but like again, I haven't been like a follower of that series or anything. Quantum Break looks sort of cool, but again, I haven't been a follower of that series, and so like none of these games like really like drive me to want to play them. But Tom Clancy's Division looks kind of cool, but I might not even end up getting that. I might wait till like a couple of months after it's released just to see what people think of it, and then I might get it. I just hope it doesn't end up like Destiny, Tom Clancy's Division, just because Destiny was really fun, but they just kind of screwed it up in some places where you like had to pay for DLC for the game to still be fun, and I just hope it doesn't end up like that. That's why I'm gonna wait, and I'm not gonna buy it off launch. So my most anticipated game is probably gonna end up being COD 2016, which is most likely going to be like Ghost 2, or like just related to the Ghost storyline, maybe not even called Ghost 2. But yeah, just Call of Duty seems like it would just be the most fun game coming up this year, because we haven't really seen a bunch of games other than that coming up, and I'm just going to be excited for that game. So that's going to wrap up this episode of Ask Me Anything. If you want to leave your questions for episode 12 of Ask Me Anything, just leave them in the comment section below or send me a private message and I always answer them. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.